Welcome. I am Crimey Queen, and if you're joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. This is where we actualize self-love, for growth, for development, for lifestyle, for self-improvement or spiritual awareness, and whatever else we may need. With numbers, there's always something presented in our messages where we can optimize the quality of our lifestyle. That's what it's all about. Okay, and if you're new to this channel, as I said, this is Mother Eve. Now, if you haven't heard of Mother Eve is meant to be the mother from whence or hence all form of life has derived. This is it. Okay, so of course you have heard of Father God, but now on this channel we are occupied with Mother God, the mother of all living. And this is where we need to remember, according to Adam and in the scriptures, that he named his wife, which we believe his wife was Eve, he named her Eve because she was the mother of all living. Now, it does state was, which would indicate there was another part which would be present as is in that time. So, of course, that is like saying there was the mother, the goddess. She was the mother of all living, of all living. But then we learn in the scriptures, of course, God called all great creatures out of the waters abundantly, those that had life. And so that denotes that there was another era of life, if you like, another era of creation. And that is where we come into play, if you like. But it is not to say that life did not exist before then, because God had called all the great creatures, whales, and all that abundantly from the waters, because the waters was there as well. We see that in Genesis of chapter 1 verse 2. This is where harmony comes together. This is where partnership is formed on number 2. This is where heaven meets earth, if you like. Or black and light or opposites, all of those things come into play. There's the marriage happened there, if you like. This is where the Spirit of God, meaning his eyes, I believe, he saw Mother Earth and he thought, doesn't she look delicious? You know, something like that. But it was a sextile activity, we could say. It's all about sex at the end of the day, whether or not we want to believe it to be so, because on a spiritual aspect, we believe that, oh no, the Virgin Mary could not have sex, or the waters did not have sex, or whatever it is. Hence, well, we are 70-80% water. Now, that is something to think about, which is the exact um, number that 70 80%, the exact number of days, if you like, to create 7 days of creation. That's the 7. Yet still that is in parallel to our makeup. Our makeup. Oh, anyway, all right. So we're going to explore Genesis of chapter 1, verse 2 or 3. Let's see. We have been going on about these few chapters, and I'm not quite sure exactly where I left off because I have been away from the camera for a little while now. When I say a little while, 4 weeks. Well, anyway, I'm glad Spirit has got me here now. So that is Mother Eve. And really, again, maybe I should just have this as a little mini introduction to where we are going with Genesis, where we intend to go. We don't even know where we are getting Spirit, God, Mother Mother God, if you like, or Goddess, or Divine Goddess, the Divine Feminine, and the Divine Masculine. But we have seen where the Divine Masculine have taken us. It's symbolic everywhere we turn, we can see. So now, I mean, we have knocked our noses, we have bruised our backsides, and then we have just been back and forth. For we see the phallic symbols all over where we look. That is very symbolic of where the divine has taken us. Now, it's not to say it is bad. We try not to do the good and bad, but although they are very instrumental into guiding us to where we want to be. So, of course, with the bruises and scars that we have incurred through that which has been established, that which we have been taught to see as the only source. There, however, we must say, we had also been guided, we have also been instructed to seek wisdom. All through the scriptures, particularly in the chapter of Proverbs, we are always instructed to seek wisdom. Seek it, and when we find it, put it around our necks as if it was an escapula, something like that. I don't know if I pronounced the word right, but it was one of those things in the Catholic Church that you have this little flat thing like a rosary or something like that. It's amazing what comes back to you. That means everything is in our makeup. The memory is there it is in our makeup. Nothing goes away. So this little tiny thing that I am now remembering with I think it had the picture of Virgin Mary on it, and we would tie it around our necks. Now that was meant to be, this is in reference as saying when we find wisdom, stick it round our necks like as though it were that little symbol. But that symbol was really, oh my God, this is so delicious now. This is the thing that I love with numerology. It gives me the chance to be able to make those references. So the Virgin Mary in actual essence is a depiction of the divine feminine, is the depiction of Mother Eve. Right there, we're supposed to remember its right hair resting against our throat chakra. It's as if reminding us when we cry for help that Mother Earth is there to nurse us and oh, this is just wonderful. Okay, so there we are with Mother Eve, whether we want to say the Virgin Mary. Right now, I am qualifying that as the Virgin Mary as well. Well, right now, because I am part of that Virgin Mary as well. It may be difficult to really accept, but in essence, I am a depiction of the divine feminine. Yes, you are too. Well, all of us have that aspect of the divine feminine within us. Now, I don't know what form you come into, however, there's still a part of you that has got that divine feminine within you. And so it is necessary to acknowledge that. And I will make reference to Emmett Fox again when he says nothing can come into your consciousness unless it finds something like itself on which to attach itself to. That would mean to say, if you don't have or acknowledge the divine feminine within you, how could you relate to the divine feminine in any way? How can you accept the nurturance that you receive, the gentleness, the cradle, the cradle in her arms, or the soft and gentle words that soothe your heart? How could you ever come to acknowledge those things? There has to be a part of you, of the divine feminine within you, to be able to connect with that which she presents. Now, oh, this is just so wonderful. Now, I am going to say that really, I want to be mindful of the length of my presentations here because I think that would work out better for both myself and you. Because again, nothing comes into our consciousness. It's that I am also taking on the notion that if the presentations are not extremely long, then they perhaps are more digestible and delicious, of course. I hope they are. Although I have no problem in um, watching long videos, like I do watch some long videos, but of course I take them in segments as well, I must admit. Perhaps that is what makes me mindful of having these presentations at, manageable sizes. Okay, so back to Genesis of chapter 1 and verse 1 to 3 thereabout. I'll just perhaps consolidate those. I hope I can. But we did look into words like moved and void and waters. Of course, the waters is Mother Earth. We have seen the parallel of waters as in the same vibrational frequency as Eve, which is number 5, as 5, which is 5 for Christ as well. So here I am saying that Christ and Eve has been on the same path as well. They have been the same, one and the same. It's really like the son had now had this link and association with his mother. He has related, he's making a direct connection with his mother. And he's going about saying, my mom's cooking is the best. My mom is the best. And he is actually more or less now going out there and saying, unless I have this female who is like my mother, I am not whole. I am looking for someone like my mother. And that is the cry that seems to be in our society right now. We need to be present for the masculine, the divine masculine. And it's not just for the divine masculine, for ourselves as well, because otherwise we are of no use. What's the good of a painting on a wall, as beautiful as it is, and there are no eyes to look at it? I think Bill Withers, I think it is, who has a song like, what's the point of talking and there ain't nobody listening? It's the same thing. The two really are now ready to merge into that oneness, that wholeness, that completion. And that I am very excited about. Um, of course, it means I am also excited about finding my twin flame. Okay, all right. So I think I have met my twin flame, but you know, again, it is that realization that we are expecting to see the manifestation in that physical realm to accept it as real. I have already accepted it as real in my spirit, but I would love to experience it in the physical realm. This is what I am saying in essence. Okay, so back to Genesis of chapter 1. Okay, so really wanting to say, so we had Mother Eve, who is the waters. We have seen how the waters, the word waters equals 5. Now we have said Christ also equals 5. We know God equals 8. And we know that the earth that I'm also associating with Mother Earth or the divine feminine in this case, although it equals 7, but we know that 7 as the word mother also equals 7. So there in Genesis, we understand that God separated the waters from the waters and the waters from the firmament of the waters. And there was a lot of separation, which, you could imagine God like, a scientist and pouring water here and there and squirting water all over the place. But what really happened in this sense. So of course, the waters from the waters, which kind of gives a confusing sort of essence to it. But then we learn that, and he called the dry land, meaning there was a wet land. He, after separating the waters from the waters, it's like he strained the waters and cast all the earth onto one side. And that God called that earth, that soil, he called it earth. So earth, in essence, is not necessarily all of that dry land, or is to call it all of Mother Earth or the divine feminine. The waters, which constitute earth as well in that sense, it's like imagining the ocean. There is a bed, the bed of the ocean is there. So the divine feminine is really the ocean, the waters, and he divided the waters. So it was really, for instance, it's like having, I was going to say, I don't know why an apple pie comes to mind, but the apple is there and someone made an apple pie and then we call the apple pie apple. Don't know. I'm not sure this is the best analogy. Okay, but you're an intelligent person. You get what I'm saying. So, for instance, okay, it's like the water already existed and you made juice. You made orange juice. You picked an orange from the orange tree and squeeze it and put it in the waters, and then you call it juice. It doesn't mean it doesn't consist of water anymore, but you have given it a name. You call it juice, taking away the name of water out of the label, completely out of the label. So that's what I'm talking about. So God, that we learn of in the Bible, in Genesis of chapter 1, of course, separated the waters from the waters, put some upstairs, some downstairs in the basement, and wherever it is, because I think we're basically in a bubble. Well, I think that's how it is. I think that's, in fact, our feminine makeup, the womb, is a typical example of exactly what I think this whole cosmos is about. We women, we are a mini earth. We are a mini earth. So, in that sense, of course, when we are impregnated, of course, we go through the motion of everything fostering its need within us, the baby and all the enzymes, all the hormones is so intelligent. It has that intelligence in it to foster all it needs, which is already within us, but it is formulating and getting the waters from the waters. We are the goddesses of this earth. I love and embrace being a woman, because being a woman and understanding my makeup is letting me know exactly what had taken place in the scriptures or what we have been taught. It's like basically we have had other people telling us about ourselves. Now I really want to know the exact makeup and what this consists. Of course, I'm going to go back to my biology, but we do understand. Again, when a mother gives birth and the water breaks, we could say that that was God really separating the waters from the waters again. That is another analogy of separating the waters from the waters. And then the dry earth, he called it dry land. Dry land, he called it earth. So here we are talking about Earth, and I think it is also important that we acknowledge the vastness of who we truly are. I just love it. And I'm just thinking that it's perhaps a good time to just wrap up on this particular introduction back to Genesis so we can really examine the verse of perhaps number 3, number 4. I think that's where we are going now. Verse 3 and 4, of course, where God said, "Let there be light." Light. This is the thing as well. And I will keep mentioning, and further on, where Christ came again, because he's talking about his mother. And he says, "Don't you know that you are the light of the earth?" That's what he was saying. He reminding us that we are the light of the earth. So when God said, "Let there be light," he really meant let there be people. Okay. Well, anyway, join me again on, further exploration of Genesis. I hope you'll find this fun. I hope you find it enlightening. If you like this presentation, click the like button and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualize in self-full love. Stay blessed, stay bright, be a field, because we are planting new seeds and spill over with love. Yes. Namaste. I love it.